Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Robert Baylor, Director of Communications here at NUCA. Welcome to our latest webinar. First, before we begin, some webinar housekeeping for attendees. Today's webinar will be recorded. It will be available in the next few days on NUCA's YouTube channel and in our webinar webpage, both of which can be accessed via nuca.com. All participants are muted upon entry. Phone participants can use *6 to mute and unmute themselves. Questions will be asked at the end of the presentation. To ask a question, you can submit a written question at any time using the WebEx chat feature located at the bottom of your screen, and I will read them at the conclusion of our discussion. Now let's get started. Our industry faces many challenges when building our complex projects for customers. In today's webinar, we're going to look at the versatility specialty attachments can offer contractors. Through case studies, our guest is going to show how utility operations have used specialty attachments to enhance processes such as trench backfilling or compaction. We're going to show you how you can increase efficiency, safety, and productivity while maximizing your equipment's adaptability. Lynn Marsh, president of NUCA member Road Widener LLC, will present today's webinar. Lynn is well versed in both road and utility construction topics, as well as safety initiatives, including the U.S. DOT's Road to Zero. Prior to her role at Road Widener, she worked as a chief operating officer at a large regional paving company. Thank you all for joining us today on this NUCA Webinar Wednesday. Lynn, I turn the webinar over to you.
Thank you, Robert. With the high demand for utility construction projects, limited labor, and increasing focus on safety, many utility construction operations are beginning to turn to attachments. While often overlooked, attachments offer contractors a wide range of benefits, from equipment versatility, ease of transport, and increased safety. Additionally, attachments boost labor savings. We have heard from contractors that when using our attachments, they cut down labor from multiple crew members down to one person, and have shortened their process from 4 steps down to 2. My name is Lynn Marsh, and I'm the president of Road Widener. Prior to Road Widener, I was the COO of a regional asphalt paving company, where I initially started as the controller. I'm familiar with the everyday struggles of contractors from both an operational and a financial standpoint. Road Widener was founded by 2 road construction professionals at that paving company I worked for. Both of these experienced firsthand the frustrations of not having the right equipment for the job. We put more than 30 years of experience to work making the equipment industry professionals wish existed. We manufactured the tools they need to take their productivity to the next level. We continue to improve on existing lines, as well as develop even more innovative construction products that will help our industry thrive. We are always listening to the voices of our customers, and if there are any pain points that you feel attachments could help with in your daily lives, we'd love to hear from you. While at first our products were designed for the road construction and maintenance industry, we're now seeing a market for our attachments in the utility construction sector, primarily for trench backfilling and trench compacting. Today, we will go over some of the opportunities to address challenges within the utility market with specialty attachments. I'll also share a couple of case studies on how attachments have been used effectively in other operations. The goal of this webinar is for you to come away with information on how you can increase efficiency, safety, and productivity through the use of attachments in your operation. Some of the current trends in utility construction are prompting many utility operations to consider new solutions. Investment in utility projects, both here in the U.S. with the infrastructure bill and around the world, is at record levels. It is estimated that there will be $952 billion spent by 2026 globally on utility system projects. Safety is a top priority with campaigns such as Road to Zero and strict safety regulations in general. Today alone, I read that the OSHA Directorate of Construction stated that a worker is 3 times more likely to die on a construction site than in general industry. So safety is really important. In trying to keep the job site footprint smaller, it requires smaller, more compact equipment. If you are dealing with traffic situations, attachments versus larger machines can help to reduce the amount of space that you're taking from traffic flow. Hiring and retaining people is difficult. so we need to be looking for ways to accomplish tasks with fewer people. A growing utility market requires increased efficiency from operations, completing projects on tighter deadlines. More projects exist, yet the timelines are not changing, or expectations aren't changing. Specialty attachments enhance fleet versatility, production time, and safety. Recently, we have seen a greater interest from the utility market in attachments for applications such as trench backfilling and trench compaction. Because attachments work with equipment you already own, additional training requirements are minimal. If you have an operator who can run a skid steer, CTL, or loader, then they're able to use an attachment without a lot of additional training compared to running a full machine that's designed for those same applications. Specialty attachments are being used in cable, telephone, gas, internet, and water line installations. First, we're going to focus in on the material placement attachment. Material placement attachments allow contractors to complete a job that was formerly manual and 4 steps with fewer workers and just a 2-step automated process. Material placement attachments are 1/5 the cost of self-propelled equipment. So the return on investment is much quicker with the lower priced attachments. Material placement attachments offer lower transportation costs because they fit on a common width trailer with their host machines. You don't need an extra lowboy and driver to mobilize the attachments to the job site. Remote controlled operation enhances safety by allowing the operator to stay in the host machine. They're easily maneuverable around obstacles such as power plates, signs, and guardrails. There's dual and single discharge models available with laydown widths ranging from 1 to 6 feet. The first case study that I'd like to share with you is the Siskiyou Telephone Company. The Siskiyou Telephone Company has been serving Western Siskiyou County in California for 125 years. They were seeking alternative methods for their telephone and internet line trench backfilling applications to simplify their process. Siskiyou worked with their local dealer to try the FHR dual discharge material placement attachment. What did they find after using it? It helped to increase the versatility of their existing equipment while eliminating the extensive processes they previously had done to take in order to get the job done. Using a dual discharge attachment allowed them to precisely lay down 1,000 to 1,300 feet of backfill per day. Using traditional methods, it would take up to 15 minutes to lay 10 yards of backfill material in the trenches, but the company can now do it in as little as 3 to 5 minutes. Remote controlled operation allowed the contractor to only have one operator in the cab, focused on ensuring a clean line of material along the road while they assign remaining crew members to other job site tasks. County officials also expressed their appreciation for the equipment due to its low traffic interference, precise material placement, aka less debris on the roadway, and the lightweight design minimized damage to the road. The FHR offers unrivaled efficiency by taking what was once a 4-step trench backfilling process and made it achievable in just 2. The attachments seamlessly fit into their business and have significantly improved their trench backfilling, productivity, and bottom line by the equipment's ease of use, accurate material distribution, and quality placement, even in hard to reach places. Now I'd like to discuss the benefits of roller attachments in the utility construction industry. Our offset vibratory roller is a patented design. It has unparalleled safety when compacting trenches and otherwise difficult areas to reach. These attachments offer remote control capabilities for convenient and effortless operation and work with standard flow hydraulics. It can be used on high flow hydraulic machines, but they must be set to standard flow. The hose machines provide a separate source of power for the compaction drum, and thanks to the offset arm, stability and safety for the operator. With this setup, an operator can now drive the hose machine on flat ground while the arm extends to the furthest, steepest edge of sloping road shoulders and ditches, while still being able to compact flat surfaces too. We often hear at trade shows how, oh, Joe tipped over the roller last week. Luckily, Joe is usually still here, but we have had customers who came to us to purchase a roller shortly after having a serious accident involving an employee. And unfortunately, a few of those were deaths. I don't think any of us as employers ever want to send an employee home injured, or even worse, not home at all. If you look at it this way, an attachment investment is equal to one workers' comp claim. I know from my financial days, it was always trying to keep costs down by keeping safety of utmost importance. You can lower your insurance premiums and increase your safety ratings with offset compaction attachments. We also offer multiple drum width lengths, and that enhances versatility further. We have a customer in Arkansas that just purchased a 2-foot drum because they're working in an area with a very steep cliff, and there was no room to have anyone be put in a precarious situation. We offer accessories such as a sprayer bar, which helps with either dust mitigation or for using with asphalt so that asphalt does not accumulate on the drum. We offer that with both tanks and a tankless system if you've already have tanks on your hose machines. The next case study I'd like to talk about is the New Hampshire DOT participated in a study to test Road Widener's offset vibratory roller attachment against 2 comparably sized self-propelled compactors. Both rubber-tired and steel drum rollers were tested in 2 positions over each material placement method, 1/2 inch up and flush. The first position was straddling the material placed. The second was with the drum mostly upon the pavement and the rear wheel up on the gravel being placed. Road Widener was only tested for vibratory because with the drive unit being on the pavement, there was no concern of flipping the unit, so vibratory can always be used. The results for this compaction testing, the material is placed 2 ways for each roller, first being approximately 1/2 inch higher than the existing pavement prior to compaction. Second, the material is placed flush with the existing pavement. Road Widener's offset vibratory roller had almost equal compaction when tested against 2 other rollers of greater weight. We had the least variance of the 3, and that's looking at the average compaction across the entire shoulder is where that number came from. This goes to show that the offset vibratory roller consistently packs material wherever necessary while offering incomparable safety to the road crew by allowing the operator to stay on the flat roadway. Another case study is Vance Corporation. They're a company in California that specializes in grading and paving for the installation of fiber optic cable. Vance Corporation demoed and purchased a material placement that was just a single discharge to use in their grading and paving operation. They saw a significant increase in productivity with fewer crew members. They went from installing 2,000 feet per day with 5 to 6 members to 4,000 feet per day, literally doubling with 4 to 5 crew members. They also cut down work time in intersections and that lowering the impact to traffic, as well as providing more safety for their employees. They talked about having to time their work in between stoplights going on and off. The vice president said it boosted operational efficiency by a minimum of 50%. There are many attachments to consider. An efficient attachment saves fuel and labor. Consider the ROI and timelines. Again, attachments will cost significantly less than full ride-on machines. And also when you can rent attachments, and there's also ROIs on that because sometimes you can't always rent it. They're not all available at that time. So it's talking and seeing how often you're using attachments and whether renting versus buying is better. Also consider the host machines you have and what attachments work with them, taking into account the weight of what the lifting capacity is, and also the coupling technology. While our attachments will fit on any unit because it has is a skid steer universal plate on it, we also have adapter plates so that people can put it on wheel loaders and graders. Trench backfilling and trench compaction are done faster with the use of attachments. They improve safety, reduce labor requirements, allowing you to take on more jobs because fewer crew members are needed for one job. It increases your equipment versatility. The attachments allow a single host machine to be used for more purposes. It allows contractors to do things that they may have had to contract out previously, and even provide the opportunity to expand into other business functions in the future. And as seen in the Vance Corporation testimony, it can reduce congestion in intersections, making the job safer and more efficiently completed. And that's all I had for today.
Thank you, Lynn. Let's now open the webinar to questions. You can use the chat feature to submit a question, and I'll read the question to her. Or if you prefer, unmute yourself, state your name and company, and ask the question directly. Remember to remute yourself after you finish. And I've got one question here. What size host machines do I need for your attachments?
The main factor to consider is the rated operating capacity of your host machine. We are brand agnostic, so we always recommend that people look up the specifications of your machine. It must be appropriate for the unit being operated, and like our attachments weigh anywhere from 1,600 pounds up to 3,400. So it's just knowing what your attachment weighs and what the operating capacity of your host machine is.
Thank you, Lynn. And another question I've got, what width of trenches can material placement attachments effectively lay down material in? Can the attachment run asphalt?
The standard laydown width for our FHR machines is 1 to 4 feet. There are optional shoe extensions that can be purchased that increase the width by either 1 foot or 2 feet. So it can go up to 6 feet. And yes, it can run asphalt. The belt inside is made for hot asphalt as well as any other aggregate material.
Are there any other questions? Got one more. Can the FHR strike off below grade?
Not below grade. It has an angle. The shoe has an angle that will go 7% down. But we have a new product that will be coming out soon that will allow for a 7-inch below grade strike off. It should be out in the next quarter.
Are there any other questions for Lynn? Here's one. Are these attachments compatible with any brand machine, Cat, John Deere, etc.?
Yes, we are brand agnostic, so it can go on. We have people using it on any brand host machine.
Are there any other questions? Well, let's go and wrap this one up. Thank you very much for your time today to participate in this discussion. We'd also like to thank Lynn and Road Widener and our many national partners for generously supporting NUCA and our monthly webinar series. Today's webinar has been recorded. A recording of this webinar will also be made available on the NUCA.com website and on our YouTube channel over the next few days. And thank you for your time today to join us for this webinar Wednesday and supporting NUCA.